of 2017. For more, I'm joined by Matt Schlapp, chairman of the American Conservative Union, who had dinner with Trump Monday night. We got to hear about that. And David Corn, who did not have dinner with the president Monday night, Washington bureau chief for Mother Jones and an MSNBC political analyst. Well, what it was like not to get
I couldn't make it. I couldn't make it, Chris.
Okay, too bad. You were at an RSVP. Matt, what's the president?
I would like to see that, though. That would be kind of fun.
Well, you can arrange it with your inside. Let me ask you about the president and taking this buffering, because it seems to me he put his name on the ballot for Strange. By the way, there's an odd name. Anyway, Luther Strange, but it didn't work. And this other guy who's a wild man, a wild man. The stuff about gays is so out of line right now in terms of our Constitution as we interpret it now. And yet it doesn't seem to bother Trump. He flipped 180 today. He's my guy.
Yeah,
this guy more.
That doesn't surprise me. I actually think Trump actually was with Luther Strange because he was the incumbent, although he was only appointed. He voted for the Trump agenda. They ran this primary about who could be the closest to Trump, and Roy Moore certainly didn't try to have any separation with Trump, and Trump wants a reliable vote in the Senate. He's going to be for the Republican. That should not be shocking.
But a week or two ago, we would say Roy Moore was a wild man. He didn't really, the 10 Commandments in his courthouse.
He did not go after Roy Moore, if you notice.
You're missing my point. Your Republican caucus in the United States Senate. This isn't against some odd state senator here. He's in the United States Senate.
Right.
His name's Roy Moore.
Not yet.
And he's been kicked out of his judgeship twice because he won't obey the Constitution.
I think that's a problematic thing.
Is he going to take an oath to the Constitution?
He absolutely is. He's going to have to.
What does that
He's
mean?
not going to get seated.
He doesn't allow its current interpretation to affect him. Roy, I think you're stymied here, David.
I'm not stymied. I'm just saying it's like the voters chose Judge Roy Moore. And the president's standing behind the Republican, and we're going to have another election, and I think Roy Moore is going to be the next senator.
The Republican voters of Alabama chose Roy Moore the way the Republican-based voters chose Donald Trump. They are going for some of the more extreme and erratic candidates that the party has to offer. They're turning against Republicans, anybody with any real experience for the job. Listen, Roy Moore not only compared homosexuality to bestiality, he's not just against it, he calls it bestiality, and at Mother Jones we just put up that clip, but also he says there's Sharia law in Indiana and Illinois. That shows that he really is not that smart a person. Yet Republican primary voters chose him, and it shows that the party is sort of still in the grips of this Tea Party fever in which they're turning towards extremists who want to disrupt and destroy and who don't show experience or competence.
Well, let me just tell you, as far as the Tea Party move is concerned, they were focused on the Constitution, which I think we all think is a good thing. As far as the governing majority, this is the big thing, which is the problem for Mitch McConnell and the other leaders who I have respect for in the Congress is that the base of the Republican Party feels like they're actually not governing and getting it done. If they were getting these things done like repeal and replace, we'll see what happens on taxes. I'm optimistic, but if they don't get it done, they're not governing in that case. They were given a majority, and it ain't happening. My party has a big problem with the fact that they're not implementing. You have to agree with that.
You know, you play musical chairs when you're in grade school and you live there, it loses a seat.
Yep.
It's like your party is losing seats for moderates. Like, you know, Charlie Dent from Pennsylvania just quits. Bob Corker just quits. But the people, they're not comfortable in the party anymore, these guys. They're not being comfortable. They don't feel comfortable.
Charlie,
I just meant, and all of a sudden, a guy like Roy Moore feels comfortable. He's part of the Republican Party now. These other guys don't feel like they're. So moderates or people who are what we used to call mainstream Republicans are quitting. The wild people are coming on board.
In
fairness, you can defend that as a political movement.
Look, in fairness, I will tell you that I think the Republican Party is moving to the right, and I think the Democratic Party, with their strident voices of Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, they're moving to the left. I think we're seeing the reduction of power of these parties and the strident voices taking over.
You see
strident voices like yours.
You see Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer actually trying to govern, find out what can persuade the president, not just the president,
give Trump credit too. Then give Trump credit too.
But yes, but they're the ones putting this deal together. They came forward, and we may see this in infrastructure. We won't see it on tax reform because tax reform is going to really be bad for people in the low middle income. But nevertheless,
they don't pay income taxes.
But the thing is, a lot of Republicans do not want to govern. They want to disrupt and destroy. They want to come here. They don't want to. They don't have a. They don't have a
Can I
plan.
try?
They don't have a
Can I
healthcare
try?
plan.
Yeah, but
they want to get rid of
make your
what's there.
statement about how working people don't pay tax.
50
just keep saying it.
50% of Americans pay income taxes, Chris. 50% of Americans don't. That's not my numbers.
Well, they pay
That's
sales taxes. They pay payroll taxes.
I said income taxes.
People making
I said and a lot of them. Look, we don't want to get stuck here, but a lot of them actually get rebates as far as income taxes are concerned. So don't say that the poor are paying income taxes. But the second thing of all of this question is, if you're going to say
property tax. Don't tell me the working people in this country don't pay taxes.
I said income taxes.
Don't forget
they don't pay income taxes. I'm for them paying. I'm the low tax guy here, so I'll win that argument every time. But the fact is, if Schumer and Pelosi get credit for trying to govern, Trump's in that mix. And you have to give all of them credit for trying to govern. You can't just say, oh, it's just the Democrats who are trying to reach across the aisle. And if you look at
how has Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan tried to?
That's their problem, is they don't look like
they don't reach across the. You can't have it both ways. They can't be extreme to meet the Republican Party base desire and then work with Democrats.
Don't worry, they're not meeting
because any time you work with Democrats, they try to work with Obama.
Would we be better off if we never had Obamacare?
Yeah, I think.
No, we'd be better off going back to nothing.
I think no. Let me finish.
I just said that.
Can I answer? I think
you can say it your way, but you can't if you'll answer.
I will answer. I think we would have been better off on these big questions of entitlements that it be done in a bipartisan way, like your old boss and Ronald Reagan did. That's the right way to do it.
Answer the question. See,
yes, we're better off without it. We're better off without it.
In other words, we're better off repealing it.
Absolutely.
Well, you can't get a vote for that.
Not having nothing. Do you see how big the government is? Not having nothing. That is absurd.
They're unable to get a vote that says repeal Obamacare because they know it's better than what we had. That's
they don't want to go back to pre-existing conditions and all that.
I will say on your TV show that this country would be better if Obamacare had never passed, and there's a lot of Democrats who are honestly disagreeing with that.
Anyway, thank you, Matt Schlapp, speaking for the minority of the Republican Party. David Corn.